Papoose, you have my lawyer's information. If you can't afford to retain a lawyer, since your lawyer that the number you gave us has not been retained yet, I told you I'll pay for it. Somebody over there that loves you wants to pay for it, that will make me happy. Everything is signed and ready to go. I don't want nothing. I'm not even asking for child support. My daughter's school, her babysitter, her nanny, her gymnastics, her swimming, her dancing, her health care, her all of that. I take care of it, like I've always done. I don't need any.
I just like to express this one thing. All these girls be like, thank you to my man. And I want to say, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To my hands, thank you to my hands. Listen, for me knowing how to fight and me training hard, I make millions of dollars just from beating people up. So, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To my hands, thank you to my hands.
Claressa Shields said that Papoose already had her lawyer's contact and everything was fully set up with no confusion, adding that she was even willing to cover legal costs if he couldn't afford it, or if someone close to him wanted to step in, as she just wanted to keep things smooth and drama-free. She also made it clear she wasn't asking him for anything, no child support or financial help at all, explaining that she has been solely responsible for her daughter's expenses from day one, including school, childcare, activities like gymnastics and swimming, and healthcare, all handled by her without outside support. Claressa Shields made sure her message was loud and clear, framing her situation as something she's always managed on her own, without ever needing financial support from a man at any point in her life or career. She then shifted the tone into something more symbolic, saying that instead of thanking a man like others might, she thanks her own hands, repeating the idea that her success, her money, and everything she has built came directly from her own effort and discipline. She emphasized that she gets paid to fight, train, and dominate, and that's how she built her entire career and wealth. But that's where things start to get complicated. Claressa Shields has been strongly emphasizing her independence and self-made success, but behind the scenes, people are now questioning how her situation with Papoose actually played out, especially since she once appeared fully convinced she had something solid with him while he was still tied to Remy Ma. For a while, they were constantly seen together and moving like a real couple, and Claressa even described being with him as a cheat code to life, believing she had found the perfect partner. However, that narrative has now shifted, with her accusing him of betrayal and claiming she was misled and used, while others argue he may have been juggling conflicting situations, which has left the public questioning what really went on between them. Claressa Shields has been openly vocal about how she viewed her relationship with Papoose, at times even describing herself as submissive and praising him as someone she deeply respected and took care of her well. But that same openness is now being reevaluated, especially since Papoose is still legally married to Remy Ma, raising questions about how clear the situation really was behind the scenes. Looking back, they were frequently seen together, appearing close and aligned at public events and online, often trending for both their relationship and surrounding drama. Now, people are divided, some wondering if Claressa simply missed the red flags at the time, while others believe she may now be reframing the story after things didn't go as expected.
Coach my man like a king. Don't ever get it messed up, baby. I may have the muscles and I may know how to fight, but I'm very submissive to my man, because my man's a good man. He takes very good care of me.
Remy Ma later exposed alleged text messages suggesting that Papoose wasn't supporting Claressa Shields the way Claressa had claimed, but Claressa didn't back down, instead insisting Remy was simply jealous and had never experienced that kind of love herself. At that point, the situation started to overshadow everything else in her life, shifting the focus away from boxing and more toward the ongoing drama involving Papoose and Remy Ma. Claressa also publicly expressed her feelings, saying she loved him and valued the support he gave her, describing it as something completely different from her past experiences, and even stating that they deserved each other, as she genuinely believed they were a perfect match. However, things took a more tense turn during her appearance on the Breakfast Club interview, where the tone of the situation began to shift noticeably. Papoose was originally expected to appear alone to promote his project, but Claressa Shields also showed up beside him, and things initially seemed calm. However, the mood shifted when DJ Envy brought up Remy Ma during the conversation. The moment her name was mentioned, Claressa's energy changed immediately. She went from relaxed to visibly defensive and stepped in strongly, insisting the situation was old news and that both sides had already moved on. She also pointed out that Remy had her own situation going on, suggesting no one involved should be acting innocent. When asked about whether things were cordial, Claressa didn't hold back either, calling the ongoing social media drama corny and making it clear she wasn't interested in entertaining the back and forth. Every time the host tried to steer the conversation back to Papoose, Claressa Shields kept stepping in as if she had been part of the marriage narrative from the start. Meanwhile, Papoose's body language began to shift. He appeared noticeably uneasy, as though he wasn't fully aligned with how she was handling the questions. That tension became the first clear sign that things behind the scenes might not be as stable as they seemed. Shortly after, Claressa leaned further into her independent image, posting a video showing off designer bags and emphasizing that she doesn't rely on anyone financially, presenting herself as fully self-sufficient and unbothered. She doubled down on that message of independence, but it also sparked questions for viewers who started paying closer attention to how the situation was unfolding.
That's why I said I love him. I love having his support. You know what I'm saying? His support is like very, very different from what I've had in the past. So how he speaks to me and stuff is very different. There you go. We deserve each other.
While Claressa Shields was active online, posting and reacting strongly, Remy Ma stayed completely silent, refusing to engage or respond, and that silence itself became louder than any public back and forth. At the same time, reality began to show through when Papoose chose to spend the holidays with his wife and daughter, a decision that immediately shifted public perception. Claressa, however, tried to maintain a calm image by going live and showing her Christmas setup, acting like everything was fine and unchanged. Still, viewers picked up on the contrast quickly, noticing the gap between the online portrayal and what was unfolding in real life. Papoose spent Christmas with his family, while Claressa Shields was not seen with him, something many observers quickly picked up on. The absence of any public acknowledgement or interaction from his side during the holiday period stood out, especially given the level of attention surrounding their situation. That silence alone fueled a lot of speculation online about where things stood between them. In response, Claressa appeared to shift into damage control mode through her online activity, even though Remy Ma had not publicly addressed the situation at that time, which only added more attention to the unfolding dynamic and how it was being interpreted from the outside. Online, Claressa Shields faced criticism after people pointed out that Papoose did not spend Christmas with her. She responded by saying he wasn't with Remy Ma either and was instead with his mother and family, but that explanation didn't really settle the conversation. When she referred to Remy as an ex-wife, users quickly corrected her, reminding her that Papoose and Remy are still legally married. That moment shifted the public narrative again, with many arguing Claressa had become overly invested in proving her position in the situation. What was once seen as a relationship story started to look more like a public comparison, with attention turning toward ego, validation, and the perception of winning rather than the relationship itself. People online started saying the only way Claressa Shields could feel validated in the situation was by getting a reaction out of Remy Ma, but Remy remained completely unresponsive, not engaging with any of the noise. Then the discussion escalated when viewers re-examined a shopping video posted by Remy Ma, claiming they heard a voice in the background that sounded like Papoose, which quickly led to speculation and people trying to connect the dots. That detail fueled further assumptions about where Papoose's loyalty might be at the time, with some suggesting it could explain Claressa's emotional reactions online. Others even took it further, arguing that if he was involved in that way, it added another layer of tension to an already complicated public situation. Claressa Shields later tried to regain control of the narrative by claiming that Papoose had gifted her luxury items for Christmas, insisting he still showed up for her and treated her like his queen, despite the ongoing speculation online. She went on to showcase a Louis Vuitton travel bag, expressing excitement and even saying she planned to use it for the gym, presenting the gift as proof that their connection was still strong. People around Claressa Shields tried to frame the luxury gifts from Papoose as proof of love, but online users weren't convinced, quickly pointing out inconsistencies and claiming she had previously shown or said she bought similar items herself. That contradiction changed the tone completely, with people now questioning the whole situation and suggesting Papoose may have been balancing multiple dynamics while still tied to Remy Ma. making the entire narrative look more messy than romantic. Claressa Shields is now being portrayed in online discussions as feeling misled, with claims circulating that she believes she may have been used or caught up in a situation she didn't fully understand, and that if she had known Papoose was still deeply tied to Remy Ma, she would have never pursued anything further. As this narrative spread, people online continued dissecting the timeline of events, pointing out earlier interactions and questioning how the dynamic shifted so quickly from admiration to public relationship claims. Even when Claressa attempted to reframe parts of the story, the internet response remained critical, with ongoing commentary suggesting inconsistencies in how everything unfolded from the start. People online are reacting heavily, with some saying they wouldn't want a situation like what Claressa Shields and Papoose have, and even questioning whether this is truly her first serious relationship based on how everything has unfolded. The situation is now seen as uncertain, with debate over whether it will completely fall apart or continue despite the tension, especially given Papoose's ongoing connection to Remy Ma. Overall, people are split. Some believe Claressa may have been misled, while others think she ignored early red flags, and the story continues to spark discussion online.